So, in the last lecture, we have seen the linearity and the first shifting property of the Laplace transform and some examples related to those properties. On the same track, now let's move to see some more properties of Laplace transform. So here, what we do is, we will take the properties one by one, followed by some examples, say one or two, so that you can easily understand how to make the use of properties side by side. So the next property is second shifting property, which says that if the Laplace transform of the function ft is fs and gt is a function such that gt is equal to ft minus a for all t greater than a and gt equal to 0 for all t less than a, then the Laplace transform of the function ft minus a or gt is equal to e raised to the power minus as into fs. Okay, so let's check how we can prove this. To prove it, first of all apply the basic Laplace transform definition to find the Laplace transform of function gt, that is Laplace transform of gt equal to integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus st into gt dt. Now, as the function gt varies from 0 to a and from a to infinity, we can break the range of the integration also from 0 to a and from a to infinity. What is our function from 0 to a? It is 0, and from a to infinity it is ft minus a. So we can write above integration as integral 0 to a e raised to the power minus st into 0 dt for 0 to a and integral a to infinity e raised to the power minus st ft minus a dt for a to infinity. So the first part of integration vanishes. Now let's consider t minus a equal to x in the second part. So we get integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus s a plus x into fx dx. Now, as our variable is x, we can take out e raised to the power minus as outside the integral as it is a constant, and we can write it as e raised to the power minus as integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus sx into f of x dx. Now, again we can change the parameter from x to t. We can write it as e raised to the power minus as integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus st into ft dt. So, integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus st into ft dt is the Laplace transform of ft. We can simply write it as e raised to the power minus as fs. So we have proved that the Laplace transform of gt is equal to e raised to the power minus as fs, or the Laplace transform of a function f of t minus a as e raised to the power minus as fs. Now let's do some examples based on the second shifting property. Find the Laplace transform of the function ft, which is equal to t minus 2 whole square for all t greater than 0 and 0 for all t less than 0. So let's check the solution. As we know that Laplace transform of t square equal to 2 factorial by s cube, that is 2 by s cube. As we already know that Laplace transform of t raised to the power n is equal to n factorial by s to the power n plus 1. So by using the second shifting property, that is Laplace transform of f t minus a equal to e raised to the power minus as into fs, which we have proved earlier, we can write Laplace transform of t minus 2 whole square equal to e raised to the power minus 2t into 2 by s cube. So in this way, you see how we can use the property and simply find the Laplace transform of the given function. Okay, so let's do another example. Find the Laplace transform of the function ft such that ft is equal to cos t minus 2 pi by 3 for all t greater than 2 pi by 3 and 0 for t less than 2 pi by 3. So let's do it. As we know that the Laplace transform of cos t is s by s square plus 1. Simply apply the second shifting property as we have done it in the previous example. We can write Laplace transform of cos t minus 2 pi by 3 as e raised to the power 2 pi by 3 into s by s square plus 1. So, on first looking, it may seem that the function is difficult one, but you have seen how simply we have solved it. So, now I think you have understood how to make use of the properties, and by simply remembering the Laplace transform of some basic functions, you can find out the Laplace transform of various other complicated functions. Now let's move to the another property, which is change of scale property, which states that if the Laplace transform of ft is fs, then the Laplace transform of the function f at is equal to 1 by a into f s by a. So let's see how we can prove this. By simple definition of the Laplace transform of f at, we can write it as integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus st into f at dt. Now let's consider at equal to x. So we can write it as integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus s into x by a into f of x dx by a. Take out 1 by a out of the integral as it is a constant, and by changing the parameter from x to t, we can write it as 1 by a integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus s into t by a into ft dt. Rearranging it as 1 by a integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power s by a into t into ft dt. Now look here, as f of s is equal to integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus st ft dt. So if we replace s to s by a, we can write f of s as f s by a. So we can write in our equation as 1 by a into f s by a. So this is how we can prove the Laplace transform of f at is equal to 1 by a into f s by a. So let's do some examples based on the change of scale property. First example, using change of scale property, find the Laplace transform of the function sin 5t. Now here we have to find the Laplace transform of sin 5t. So as you know that the Laplace transform of sin t is 1 by s square plus 1. We have earlier done it and we have just studied the change of scale property by which the Laplace transform of the function f of at is given by 1 by a into f s by a. So by applying the property, Laplace transform of sin 5t can be written as 1 by 5 into 1 by s by 5 whole square plus 1, which is equal to 5 by s square plus 25. Now here you can also directly find out the Laplace transform of sin 5t by using the formula of sin 80, which is a by s square plus a square, which we have done already in the previous lecture. So if you see, we get the same result, that is 5 by s square plus 25. But as it is asked to solve the problem using the change of scale property, we have done it like this. So let's take the next example. Find the Laplace transform of the function ft equal to cos square 3t. So the solution is, as we know that cos square t is equal to 1 by 2 into cos 2t plus 1. If you remember, we have earlier find the Laplace transform of cos square t. Once again see how we have done it. So to find the Laplace transform of cos square t, we can write cos square t as 1 by 2 into cos 2t plus 1 and easily find the Laplace transform of cos 2t and 1. So we get the Laplace transform of cos square t as 1 by 2 into s by s square plus 4 plus 1 by s. Now we have to find the Laplace transform of cos square 3t. So apply the change of scale property, replace a by 3 in the function. We get the Laplace transform of cos square 3t as 1 by 3 into 1 by 2 into s by 3 by s by 3 whole square plus 4 plus 1 by s by 3. Solving it, we get s by 2 into s square plus 36 plus 1 by 2s. So you see how to use the change of scale property to solve such type of problems. Now let's see the another property, which is multiplication by t property. That is, the function ft is multiplied by t or power of t. So according to the multiplication property, if the Laplace transform of ft is fs, then Laplace transform of t raised to the power n into ft is given by minus 1 raised to the power n dn by dsn of fs. So let's check how we can prove it. By simple definition of Laplace transform, we know that fs equal to integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus st into ft dt. On differentiating both sides with respect to s, we get d by ds of fs is equal to d by ds of integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus st into ft dt. We can take d by ds inside the integral and rearrange it as integral 0 to infinity del by del s of e raised to the power minus st into ft dt. Why we have written like this? Because ft is independent of s. So del by del s is only applicable to e raised to the power minus st. On differentiating e raised to the power minus st with respect to s, we get integral 0 to infinity minus t into e raised to the power minus st into ft dt. Taking out the minus sign and rearranging the equation, we can write it as minus integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus st into t ft dt. Now see, by the basic definition of Laplace transform of any function ft is integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus st into ft dt. So if we consider our function ft as tft, we can write it as minus Laplace transform of tft. So the Laplace transform of tft is equal to minus d by ds into fs by taking minus sign to the other side. Now, once again differentiate the above equation 2 with respect to s. So we get d by ds into d by ds of fs, that is d square by ds square of fs equal to d by ds integral 0 to infinity minus t e raised to the power minus st into ft dt. As we have done it earlier, again we can take d by ds inside the integral, and by solving the differentiation we can write it as integral 0 to infinity minus t e raised to the power minus st into minus t into ft dt. Now pay attention here that on differentiation twice we get two negative sign. So negative negative become positive, or we can write it as minus 1 square integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus st into t square into ft dt, which is minus 1 square into Laplace transform of t square into ft, or we can write it as Laplace transform of t square into ft equal to minus 1 square d square by ds square of fs. In the same way as we have written earlier, similarly, if we once again differentiate, we get Laplace transform of t cube into ft equal to minus 1 raised to the power 3 d cube by ds cube of fs, and so on. So you find as the power of t goes on increasing, so the power of minus 1 also goes on increasing, as well as the order of differentiation also goes on increasing. So for n time, we get the Laplace transform of t raised to the power n into ft as minus 1 raised to the power n dn by dsn of fs. Please note that this is very important property of Laplace transform, as this property is used in number of questions. So let's see how to use the multiplication property to solve this example. So the question is, find the Laplace transform of the function ft equal to t into sine h at, that is sine hyperbolic at. Solution. As we know that the Laplace transform of sine hyperbolic at is equal to a by s square minus a square. We have done it in the earlier lecture. Now by applying the multiplication property, we can write the Laplace transform of t into sine hyperbolic at as minus d by ds of a by s square minus a square. Here n is 1 as power of t is 1. So by solving the differentiation, we get the Laplace transform of t into sine hyperbolic at as 2as by s square minus a square whole square. So if you remember the Laplace transform of basic functions, by using the Laplace transform properties, you can easily find out the Laplace transform of other complicated functions. Let's take another one. Find the Laplace transform of the function ft equal to t square cos at. In the same way as we have solved the previous one, we know that the Laplace transform of cos at is equal to s by s square plus a square. So by just applying the multiplication property, we can write Laplace transform of t square cos at as minus 1 square d square by ds square of s by s square plus a square. On differentiating twice, we get the result as 2s into s square minus 3a cube by s square plus a square whole cube. So the Laplace transform of t square cos at we can find like this. Okay, so the next property is division by t property. According to this property, if the Laplace transform of ft is equal to fs, then the Laplace transform of the function ft divided by t is given by integral s to infinity fs ds, provided the limit t tends to 0 ft by t exists. Okay, so let's see the proof. So again we will start from the basic definition, that is fs or Laplace transform of ft is integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus st into ft dt, and integrate this both side with respect to s. So what we get? We get integral s to infinity fs ds is equal to integral s to infinity into integral of whole term, that is integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus st into ft dt. Here we can interchange the inner and outer integral, that is we can move the outer integral inside the bracket, so it becomes integral 0 to infinity in bracket integral s to infinity e raised to the power minus st ft ds, close the bracket, into dt. Note here that the integral 0 to infinity is with respect to t and s to infinity is with respect to s. That's why we have also bring ds inside the bracket and dt outside the bracket. Now solve the integration, that is inside the bracket. On solving, we get integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus st into ft by minus t, limit from s to infinity into dt. Now, as our variable is s here, not t, we can bring minus ft by t outside the bracket and apply the limit to e raised to the power minus st from s to infinity. On putting infinity, e raised to the power minus infinity becomes 0, and for 0, e raised to the power minus st. Minus side will come, so we get integral 0 to infinity e raised to the power minus st into ft by t dt, as minus minus cancel out. Now look, this is basically the Laplace transform of ft by t. We can say it. So the integration of e raised to the power minus st into ft by t is equal to the Laplace transform of ft by t, or we can say that Laplace transform of ft by t is equal to integration of fs ds from s to infinity. Now, one thing which I want to point out here is that in some books you may also see fs ds written as fx dx. So what's the logic is? Since we are integrating the function with respect to s and also our limit is in the form of s, that is from s to infinity. So to avoid the confusion, we can write the function as fx dx. You can write it as you prefer. There is nothing wrong. Either you can write as fs ds or as fx dx. For better understanding, let's do some examples. First one, find the Laplace transform of the function ft equal to sin t by t. So the solution is, as we know that the Laplace transform of sin t is 1 by s square plus 1, and also limit t tends to 0 sin t by t equal to 1, that is limit t tends to 0 sin t by t exists. So we can apply the division property, that is Laplace transform of ft by t equal to integral s to infinity fs ds. So the Laplace transform of sin t by t is equal to integral s to infinity 1 by s square plus 1 ds. On solving the integral, we get tan inverse s, as the integral of 1 by s square plus 1 is tan inverse s by the standard integral formula. Now apply the limit from s to infinity. So we get tan inverse infinity minus tan inverse s. Tan inverse infinity is pi by 2. So we get pi by 2 minus tan inverse s, or we can also write it as tan inverse 1 by s, or which is also equal to cot inverse s. So this is how we can use the division property to solve the Laplace transform of the functions given. Let's do one more example on the division property. Example, find the Laplace transform of the function e raised to the power minus at minus e raised to the power minus bt by t. Okay, so let's do the solution. As we know that the Laplace transform of e raised to the power minus at is 1 by s plus a, and Laplace transform of e raised to the power minus bt is 1 by s plus b. So by the division property, we can write the Laplace transform of e raised to the power minus at minus e raised to the power minus bt by t as integral s to infinity 1 by s plus a minus 1 by s plus b into ds. So what is the integral of 1 by s plus a? It is log s plus a. And the integral of 1 upon s plus b as log s plus b. So we can simply write log s plus a minus log s plus b as log s plus a upon s plus b, and the limit of integration is from s to infinity. On putting infinity, log infinity becomes 0, and for 0, log s plus a by s plus b, minus sign will come. So we get minus log s plus a by s plus b, which we can also write it as 1 by log s plus a by s plus b, or simply log s plus b by s plus a. So the Laplace transform of the function e raised to the power minus at minus e raised to the power minus bt by t, we get log s plus b by s plus a. Okay, so in the next lecture we will see the derivative and the integral property of Laplace transform and more. Thank you.